Okay, on Monday, we finished this section about the switch. So you know the switch is a kind of conditional. So we can have many options, like say this is the variable, and I want to check whether the variable is 1 or the variable is a or the variable is number float 3.14, or yeah, if there is no other choice like this one, then it will be the default. Now let's look at the loops. Loops or iteration is the one of the syntax in programming language. So when you use the Java or C, you will see there are three kind of loops: for, while, do while. And okay, let's see if I have this while loop and for loop. So let me make test loops.js. Let me make another JS test loop. Okay, I'm going to make the connection to the index.html. So let me change this to test loop. Okay, so I hope that you already know how to deal with this one. So we don't have the sample at this moment. Okay, so yeah, you don't need to run this case. But in the test loop, whenever you call the JavaScript, you will see the alert. Alert means you will see the pop-up. Okay. See. So you can see the pop-up 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 5. Why this 5? So if you're familiar with Java, you will know that we need to have the initial value. Okay. This is the initial value, which is 0. And then this is the condition to stop, or the condition to do the iteration. And we know that the iteration will continue if the condition is counter less than 4. And we will do the additional by 1. So this is counter plus plus. It is only available in Java, C, C#. In Python, there is no plus plus. It means if I start from 0 and if the condition is still less than 4, I will continue with plus 1. So the first value is 0. And then I will check whether counter is less than 4. If 0 is less than 4, yes, then it will be added by 1. So 1. And then I will alert counter. So I will alert 1. And then it will be added by 1. It becomes 2. And then we will check 2 is less than 4. Yes. Then it will go again to the statement alert. So we will show 2. And then plus by 1, it becomes 3. 3 is less than 4. Yes. Then we will do alert. We will show it in pop-up. And then 3 plus plus. So it will be 4. 4 less than 4. No. Then we will not show 4 in the alert. And then we will go here. So what is the final value of counter? it is 4. 4 less than 5. Yes, it is true. So we will again do the pop up, but plus counter. What is the difference between counter plus and plus counter? At first, this one showing the value and then add by 1. But the second one, we will add by 1 and then show the value. That's why when the value is 4, we will do the plus first. Then it becomes 5. So the counter is 5 and we will show the value 5. So you can try if you change this one to plus. Then the value will be 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then finish. Okay. So that's the difference between plus and a variable, and then variable and plus. Okay. So you already know how we can deal with functions. So if we have a function, yeah, we will have a kind of structure. We call it the code structure, and we can split the code into parts. And data comes in process and result written. So let's see if I have the function. Let's say I want to calculate the average. And you know that every function can have parameters. So here we have 3 parameters, A, B, and C. I have a new variable total, and then the total will be the A plus B plus C, and I would like to return the value, which is total divided by 3. So I'm going to get the average of the A and B and C. And then after I run this one, yeah, I would like to print it in the document. So let's see if I have this function and I'm going to write it in the function test.js. So let me make a new JS file, function test1. So as you can see, in the PyCharm, it will automatically assign number 2 as the variable A, B, 4 as the variable in number for B, and then 6 as the variable of C. Okay. Now let me change the index, and then I will change this one to function underbar test1. Now let me run. The average is 4. Okay. My question is, why do we need? Why don't we call the function average in the HTML file? So if you see this one, you can see the button. So in other example, we will click this one and then do the JavaScript. But in this case, we don't do anything. and it shows the result average equals to 4. So how does it work? If you see this one, the function is a separate function, and we have a JavaScript statement outside the function. So this JavaScript will be executed. And this JavaScript, now you can see that it will write in the document, it means it will write in the HTML file, and it will write the average. So the average, now you can see this is the average function. So it calls the function from the JavaScript file. And it shows the parameters 2, 4, 6. So I will give 2, 4, 6 into this parameter, and then the total will be 2 plus 4 plus 6, which is 12. And then I will return a value which is 12 divided by 3. Then the result is 4. Now, there can be a function without the argument, and yeah, we can have some kind of result. Yeah. So functions are not required to return value. So you can omit this return value because it can only do some calculation, or we can also omit the arguments. So when calling function, it is not obligatory to specify all of its arguments. So the function has access to all the arguments passed by via arguments array. So when we do this kind of function, okay, let me show you this. Let's make the function test2. So I will call this in the index.html function test2. If you see this function, the function sum has no arguments. But when we call this, we have arguments. Now let's see the result. When you run this, it shows 7. What does it mean by 7? It is the sum. So this value 1, 2, and 4, it will be the argument of this function, and how the JavaScript can get this argument. So this argument will be in the parenthesis, and this function will try to read any given argument given by the user, and they will just call it as argument. So if there is no value here, then it will be nothing. But if you give the value, then it will be a kind of array. And this array, you can look at the length. Now you can see there are 3 numbers. Then it will be a loop from 0 until the length of the numbers. So we have 1, 2, 3 until 3 numbers. And then I will be added by 1, I plus plus whenever we finish this statement. So in this statement, I would like to do the summation plus equal parse int. We know that the parse int is to change string into integer. It means every value we give to this argument JavaScript automatically consider it as string. So you need to pass into all kind of other data type. Let's say this is integer. So let's see if I make this one as plain. Then just you. Now, if I do this one with A, B, C, is it possible? Okay, let me try. MA. Okay. The code is still working, but the result is not available. NaN means not a number. Okay. So we want to show the result, but because it is not a number, then there is no result. That's why they do NA. If I change this one to and 3, let's say this one. Is it working? It's also NaN. In some cases, in Java, it will check the first value. We can do the addition, and then if the last addition is not the number, we cannot do the summation. But can we do this one? It's also NaN, because the last value is not a number. We have the problem in the parse IND. Okay. Now we need to understand how we can pass the value from Python to JavaScript. We know that the Python file will be as the backend and the JavaScript is in the front end. Then the data will be stored in the database and can be retrieved using Python. There might be necessary to run algorithm or some measurement in JavaScript due to the performance issues. Okay. So if you do not want to make delay on the algorithms, you can use the JavaScript to do the algorithms. So I would like to show you how we can pass the data from Python to JavaScript via HTML. Okay, let's make a kind of views again. I will copy this one, and then I will make another HTML file called analysis. So in the views.py, you have the home, and then let's make another function, depth analysis, and then I'm going to make a new data which is just 1 2 3 4 5, and then I will like to pass this data into the analysis.html. And after I have the views.py, I will make the analysis.html in the templates. Okay, let's look at the file. I'm going to make the HTML file analysis. Okay, so yeah, I will explain more about this code. And then let's make a kind of link. So I'm going to make a path, and this path is in the urls.py. So I will go to the urls.py and then I will make a path. Okay, so the analysis will not be available because we need to call the function. Okay. So you can make additional function. So from the views.py, I'm going to import home and analysis. Then it will make the error gone. So here it means I would like to call the analysis function. There are two ways actually. Yeah, you can use the views.analysis like this one, or yeah, I think it's easier to do this one. So if the link has the analysis text, then I will run this analysis function. Let's run analysis. So I can pass the value from Python to the HTML via JavaScript. How can we do this one? Let's look at this. So I have the data. Okay, I can show the data. And what I want to show the data is the data will be available in the variable. Okay, so there are two kinds of data. First is the data here, and then I can also show the data in this value. You know the type. The type, you can see the type as button, you can see the type as text, you can see the type as other kind of things in the HTML. There's another type we call it hidden. So if it is hidden, then it will not be shown in the HTML, but you can have this one in your HTML. So I'm going to make a type of hidden, and the ID will be my file. And what I want to do is I will just get the data. Okay. So this data will be passed to the JavaScript here. So I would like to print my var. What is my var? My var is the ID here. And this ID will have a value of the data. And then this my var will go to the data, which is the argument, and I would like to get the my var as the document dot get element by ID, and then I would like to check what is the variable my var, and I would like to get the value, and then I would like to check what is the my var. Okay, now if I click some data test, so you will see the value in the pop-up. So my question is, if you already understand the JavaScript, is it necessary? No. Why? Because this JavaScript, we need to get the argument, right? So this is the argument, and then this data. if I delete this one, is it possible? No. It's possible. So again, let me delete. Is it possible? So my question, is it necessary? In this case, yeah, we don't need this argument. Why we don't need this argument? And why we can see the result in the JavaScript? Because this one. Okay. We want to get the value from the my file. What is the value from the my file? My file is this ID. So the value is the data. Get element by ID. So I will just give you one example of this one. Later there will be another kind of document. Okay. In the document, it means in the HTML file, in this HTML file, let's get the element by ID. And what is the ID? I want to get from the ID my file. And I want to get the value of my file. So all the values will be in the variable my file. And then I want to show it here. Okay. So if you want to change this with the my file, now let's see if I change this to data. What happened? Okay, let's check. So we need to get what is the element in the object. Okay. In this case, you need to define what is this object of the my file. So you need to get the value and then yeah. So you need to have more things to deal with the data here. So the easy way is to get the element. Okay. In order to get the elements, yeah, you need to define what is the element in your HTML, and then you just get the element, and you just get the value so that you can pass by here. Okay. So whenever you call any HTML file, you can just put into one hidden or yeah, one variable like this one, and then you can pass to the JavaScript without the argument, and then you can just call what is the place you store the data. Now, the last part of the GIS JavaScript is about how to do debugging. Debugging is very serious issue in the programming. Okay. In the modern browsers have JavaScript console where errors in scripts are reported. And the errors may differ across browsers. So if you use Chrome, maybe the errors would not be the same with the Opera. Or if you have like the in other modern browsers or the browsers with some functions like the privacy functions or the security functions, they have different kind of errors. So several tools to debug the JavaScript, you can use like the Microsoft Script Editor. So yeah, we can use the add-on in the Internet Explorer or in the Microsoft Ads. So they support the breakpoints and watches. And JavaScript statement debugger, yeah, there's an option for the Microsoft Script Editor, and it opens the script editor. I assume that most of you use Chrome, so let me just give you the insight how we can deal debugging with Chrome. So in the Chrome, there's a JavaScript editor. We can edit the JavaScript in a lib editor that shows the result of running the JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. So when you deal with the JavaScript, and later on we will learn about the jQuery, so we can see whether the code complete or not. And then they can show the on-the-fly code analysis. That means it can show the real time. And it will show the warnings if there are some warnings. And it can be the hands-on learning environment. And it will show the HTML DOM, data object model. It will be refreshed automatically as you write the JavaScript. So let's see. In the JavaScript console object, you can look at the Chrome, and then you can press F12. So if you press F12, then you can see this is the JavaScript debugging tool. If you click this body, then this is about all contents on the body. So you can see this one is an input type hidden, and then there's an ID myvar, and the name is variable, and the value is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for the P here, it has the value according to the data given from the backend, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see also the console. So the console, yeah, you can do something. Alert 1. So wait. The environment is new. Okay, so I think the console will appear more if we have some errors, because we have to know errors, then we cannot do anything here. So there are some errors, warning, no info, no purpose. Okay, so this is new for me. And yeah, they have a new kind of tools in Korean. So if you have concern about the language, so you can switch the dev tool to Korean. Let me keep in English. Okay, so you can change if you want. And also there are some other kind of debugging tool here. You can check where is the sources. Okay. So in this case, I'm using the analysis.html. Then yeah, you can also see if you have the real-time data, you can see the network, you can see the performance, the memory, and then the security. So in the location, the application, if you connect with some kind of database, they can show. And yeah, now the browser becomes more advanced with some more technology. If you want to record about your journey. Let's say you want to go one page and then you go to another page. So they provide some kind of recording. And those are in your local or the client. So you can reuse this one in order to know your behavior whenever you do the browsing in the internet. Anyway, maybe we will look at this more. Yeah. So the element is the place to see where is your errors, and the console, it will show what kind of errors that are available when you have the JavaScript code. Okay, so that's the very basic JavaScript. Okay. So we learn about the syntax. You know the JavaScript is located in the head, in the body, and also in the external file. So we learn the very basic JavaScript like the operators, the control flow, conditional and iteration, and the functions. And yeah, because we don't have any errors on our code, so just showing nothing in the debugger code. Okay. Let's have a break. I will continue after a break.